I wanted to ask you a bit more about, what was going on during the war and just kind of how this fear was created and propagated through society and what techniques they used, what people were listening to, just some of the content that the government were releasing. How quickly did it spread through Rwanda?
So in Rwanda, since 1993, I think, there was this radio that was created called Radio El-Telem.
El-Telem.
El-Telem. And Radio El-Telem was created by the richest man. And this man is in The Hague right now, answering for his crimes of genocide.
Really?
Yeah.
Is in where, sorry?
In The Hague, where's The Hague? It's like almost like ICC, International Criminal Court. But at that time, it was the richest man. I think he's from the family of the wife of the president. And he created a radio that would just pan out propaganda every day. That was the whole thing.
Who was the president at the time?
The president was Habyarimana, Juvenal Habyarimana, and he was one of the 9 people that created the Parmehutu document that I talked about. You remember in the 1950s. So he became president in the 70s, did his thing, and then in the 90s when the war started, the way they did it was through mass communication. At that time, people had radios, and there were no TVs. And the radio is a very powerful form of communication, right?
Yeah.
So the LTM was, they used popular music, like the 80s music, jazz and funk
and disco.
All that.
Wow.
Yeah. So they used all that nice music was to target the youth.
So was it nice? So would it be Rwandan artists playing disco songs which were about hating the...
No.
What do you mean when you say nice music?
So I think at that time in East Africa, Congolese music was
very popular,
like how Afrobeat. So if it was to be compared to today, it would be a radio playing, let's say, Whiskey
or Burna Boy or something.
Burna Boy, but in the middle,
it would be these messages.
Yeah, so they will be like, this is a song from Burna Boy, and then the song is done, and then there will be these funny people, on the radio that are very charismatic. Yeah, and then they will be talking about how the Tutsis they are raping our children in the north. They're doing this, and if you have a Tutsi in your house, you're a traitor. Do not trust the Tutsis because they will backstab you and they will kill you. Just building up that hatred for the Tutsis slowly by slowly, By the time the president died in a plane crash, people were already ready. They had lists, they had made lists of which houses have Tutsis. It's like block 37, those are Tutsis. In block 43, they have one Tutsi, and then when the genocide started, the radio would go, someone on the radio would be calling out names. It would be like, Mr. Dara, we are looking for you. You're not going to survive one more day. We know where you live. I know, or they will say, there's this family of that lives in this area. You have to go and catch them and kill them, And so they were giving instructions and morale to that.
That's so crazy. And I heard so basically they used popular music to become the most popular radio that everyone would listen to.
Yes.
And once it was established, they spread this message.
And they even got the most popular radio journalists from the Rwandan radio, the main radio. So this radio was almost like the official radio, really. Because it was owned by the richest man who was close in the same family with the first lady. The employees were from the national radio station. They were using the national radio station equipment. They had coverage all the way to Uganda, people on the border in another country.
And how did people listen to this radio?
Well, like a radio, you just tune into the right radio waves and you listen, yeah.
But did everyone have access to radios?
Radios were very accessible at that time. It's like late 90s, 1994. So they were very, And obviously there are poor people at that time, you know, but there will always be like, let's say in a cafe, someone that has a radio. People go there, drink, and they listen to the radio, right? Or this person has a radio, he calls the neighbors, they come in and they just listen to the radio because they didn't have TV at that time. So you can imagine the form of entertainment. Say Rwanda is playing football against Nigeria, they would listen on the radio, right? So
yeah. So there's many opportunities to spread.
Yeah, to spread
the hate.
Yeah.